Hi, I'm Rick Lobdell. Welcome to another episode of Concrete Mystique, the podcast. This show is brought to you by Epoxy Depot. Go to epoxydepotusa.com and check out all their great products. Follow me on all social media platforms. Today on the show, Brian Bourne. Hi, I'm Rick Lobdell. Welcome to another episode of the Concrete Mystique podcast. I'm here this afternoon with my friend Brian Bourne. We're at the Epoxy Wars where are we at? In Lebanon, PA.
Lebanon, yeah.
At the Epoxy Depot, having a great time. He is one of the coaches or the captains of the team. There's two teams, and he's the other captain, him and Isaiah Pride. And I'm one of the judges, and so I've had to torture this man for 2 days.
This is true.
I had to stand over top of his guys and watch them make mistake after mistake after mistake.
Oh, yeah.
And here we are. We're almost done. We have a couple hours left. And so we're going to stop and talk to each other for a minute. So welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you, sir.
It is nice to finally meet you.
It was a pleasure.
Absolutely.
It's just an honor to meet all you guys. I mean, I met Bob and his wife last year at World of Concrete, but or this year, I should say. But it's been an honor just to actually get to talk and meet and get personal with you guys.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. I've been talking about it with a couple guys tonight, too. It's one of those things where I don't understand why I'm here as a judge kind of thing. Like, I really don't think of myself as very well known, or I don't know how many people know me or anything like that. But coming to these things give me this opportunity to meet new people all the time.
Right.
And that's all this has been about. I only know a select few people outside of the judges here. Mm-hmm. So it's been awesome to be able to find a new place, to find more people. You know, obviously you can tell I'm a huge networking kind of fiend.
Yeah.
You know, I love getting to know new people.
Uh-huh.
And so it's been awesome to watch you work. And really the biggest thing is to watch the difference between you and Isaiah's thought process, your design ideas. We had nothing, we had no expectation, we had no idea, are you going to do the exact same thing because you have the exact same plan? How are you guys going to do something different? And so tell me how that all kind of started and how it all came together.
Me and Isaiah, we were actually called out on a competition about 4 years ago. And there was Isaiah, Sean Dennison was one, Crystal Pelosi, and Brandon Landis, and myself. The competition never got to take place. Excuse me. The competition never got to take place because it was not orchestrated properly, and it just never happened. I don't, to my knowledge, I don't know. Yeah, I think they actually went through with it, but I just was not involved due to timing. It was not perfect for everybody. So, like, we both came kind of surfaced and came into the limelight about the same time. And, we both became rising artists in the industry. And so I got a phone call from him about 2 years ago and asked me to join into the product line. And so he's like, I would love to have you. I mean, like you said, we are a complete different artists. I'm more of a realist artist. It's the only reason I do what I do is because it sells where I live. That's everybody's into faux finishes where I live. Not because they can't afford the real thing, but our product can outlive the real thing.
Where do you live again?
I live in South Florida, in the Florida Keys.
The Keys?
Yeah.
Oh, you are spoiled.
I know. I know. This I know. I moved down there when I was 4 years old, and I've tried to leave. I moved to Costa Rica. I lived in Vegas. I lived in the Carolinas. I lived in Tennessee. I'm actually from Tennessee.
Really?
Yeah.
Where at in Tennessee?
East Tennessee.
Okay.
Chattanooga.
Cool.
But my father worked for Pepsi when I was a young child, and they transferred him to the Miami plant. So we lived in Miami, and then my parents separated, and my stepdad worked at the power company down in the Keys, and we moved down there, and that's where I fell in love. I started doing concrete and commercial fishing. Like the two hardest jobs you could possibly, like hardest on your body.
Absolutely.
And
Commercial fishing is not a joke.
yeah, when I'm not doing concrete, I'm out cast net and mullet.
So, do you actually like to fish?
I love to fish.
When you're not out there fishing with a net, like you like real fishing, like
yeah,
you actually have
I'm a very competitive person. Actually, you met Erlen Arajo. You know Erlen Arajo. But this past summer, he just bought a boat and wanted to fish a tournament. And he knows I fish tournaments, and I rely on the tournament winnings as part of my income.
That's awesome. So hold on, throwing a lot of stuff at me here. I gotta finish this part of it. All saltwater or freshwater?
All saltwater.
All saltwater.
Yeah.
All in the Keys or like all across the coast or like?
Between Miami South.
Really?
Yeah.
So how many competitions?
There's a lot.
Really?
Yes. Multi-million-dollar competitions.
How do they do? Catching me off guard on here, but I love fishing too. Obviously, is why I'm asking. But I'm a freshwater. I like to fish for bass, and I'm a basic fisherman.
Yeah.
How do you do a competition? Is it that you go like way out into international waters to catch the big fish and it's the biggest one, or do you have to stay closer and it's more about the quantity and stuff like that?
It depends on the tournament. Like a sailfish tournament, it's quantity, but you're not allowed to actually touch the fish because we release them unharmed. The main thing is touching the leader and dehooking them so they're not harmed. A dolphin.
Do you keep them in a tank until you let them go? So
we have judges on the boat.
Oh, really? Oh, because the boats are bigger.
The boats are bigger.
Duh. We're in the ocean. See, I'm so used to the tiny little fishing boats. That's why I'm like, wait, what?
We're talking like 70-foot sport fish, $1 million boats, you know.
So are there multiple people competing on the boat?
Yeah, you have anglers. It's actually more regulated than this competition. The rule books are just insane.
Well, this is our first competition that will get more regulated.
Yes.
Especially safety.
Yes.
Which we will talk about because you've been great about that. You tried very hard.
I tried very hard.
You took that very seriously.
They were very vague about the rules on this, but we designed it.
Well, and I changed that. That was all my fault because we didn't talk about that, what you don't, I don't know how much you know about me either on the same side, but being a member of ASCC, the American Society of Concrete Contractors, safety is their number one priority.
Right.
So it's not that you guys weren't going to take it serious, but you didn't realize the level of what that means. And then on top of that, we're filming this for a major opportunity. So we can't go into that half-ass about safety.
No. Right.
And there was a few things that didn't go right this time that we will fix for next time, including the dust, obviously. But you guys tried the best. At least you were willing participants in it and trying the hardest you could. You took it very serious. You guys took it more serious than the other team on some things, nothing major. But it's important to me that I make that point, because if I don't and the industry finds out that I let it go, I'm deep shit.
Yeah.
I'm in deep shit.
No, we wanted, before you showed up, I actually had everything, but I didn't know how it was going to go. I made sure everybody had respirators, eyeglasses, gloves, everything.
Like next year, it'll be long sleeves.
Yes.
Has to be long sleeves just in case, because you never know if you can get burned by the overlay. There's so many. The stain splashing. The glasses were important because of the stain. The glasses were the most important thing on some things, because even when you're overlaying, you just don't know. One of the guys is out there with a sponge roller trying to create a texture. Something like that could just shoot right up. You don't know. I mean, we take it for granted because we do it all the time, and we don't have these problems on our job sites. Why would we have it right now?
Right.
Again, you're on the massive stage here. You have to worry about
when I'm carving, I always wear glasses. I even get it in my eyes with glasses on. Like it'll find the perfect hole and just get in there.
Yeah.
More so with foam core construction, the little beads they're just atrocious. But my eyes are so sensitive. I'm used to wearing, but I don't wear like clear glasses. I always put on my sunglasses because it's in South Florida.
Me too.
Yeah. I always have glasses on. Always. I always have raccoon eyes during the summer.
I even feel like that since I'm slightly colorblind, that I have a sensitivity to the light, and I think the sunglasses help me on a lot of things.
Yes.
helps me see value better.
Yes.
So I like the sunglasses on so many levels,
Yes.
even sometimes interior, to help me see things better.
My eyes are so sensitive from fishing on the water for years and decades even.
Because it's so bright.
So bright. The
Yeah.
reflection, refraction. I cannot live without my sunglasses. That's my number one tool.
So how did you go from, I understand the fishing part, but how did you get into doing so much decorative with your materials? Like, how did you find that part of the industry, and what brought you into the decorative side of everything? Were you pouring concrete at all, or have you ever poured concrete?
I've been doing concrete construction. We started at a very early age. I know it's probably against the rules to say this, but I started doing building. I was a foreman by the age of 17 and 18. I was running crews, and I would have older guys that are like, I'm not gonna listen to this kid. And the boss was like, watch what this kid can do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's good at everything. And I would, put guys to shame. I would be faster, more efficient, and never complain, and have better ideas. We kind of got thrown into it, but I just fell in love with working with concrete, and whatever material was splashed on the floor, I would try and mess with it, come up with different sculptures. I always liked to carve out of clay. And
you know what I was doing when I was 14 to 19, well, to 20? I was a lifeguard.
Really?
That's all I did.
No
I
way.
sat on a beach and got a tan while you're busting your ass in concrete.
I got a tan while I was fishing. We would literally, so when the migration would come through, my number one thing that I did was I would supply the world with bait. I used to catch a certain particular bait fish. There's only 11 boats in the country that catch these fish. It's a highly regulated fishery. And I did between that, and I used to catch sharks for government research for cancer.
Really?
Yeah, the government would be on the boat, cameras on the boat. Once you turn the hydraulics on, it would have somebody in Washington was watching the entire show, making sure it was very, very regulated.
How were they using that for cancer?
I don't know what they do. Sharks don't get cancer, and they don't know why. So they're researching on why they're trying to cure cancer with sharks.
No, I know what they're trying. I get that part. That's really interesting. It's a weird. This will be a conversation we will have later.
Of course.
Because my wife worked in cancer for 11 years.
Yeah.
So I know more about cancer than the average bear. And it's hard to talk about sometimes because half the time when I say that, it's like, oh yeah, my blah 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 is going through blah, and I'm like, I don't want to talk about it because all I'm going to tell you in a second is that they're going to be gone soon, and I don't want to tell you that.
Yes.
And so it's an amazing thing to hear about that with the sharks. And I take cancer very serious. I'm part of Concrete Cares to raise money for cancer for the same reason. Mm-hmm. That's one of my favorite things that I found in this industry to help raise money for and things like that too, because I know so much and take it so serious. So that's really amazing that you were technically helping research to save lives. Mm-hmm. And whether it works or not is a whole other conversation, because it's the amazing thing. It's what we have to do.
Yes.
My wife, for years, what we explained was everybody that's in those labs, just to make you know what you're doing for them. All those people that are in those labs, 99.9% of them are never going to prove anything positive.
Right.
That we're not going to find a cure, we're not going to find a chance, we're not going to find anything. Instead,
it's a business.
Instead, it's more like, look at, you think about the iconic thing of Santa, and he's checking off the list of all the kids, were they naughty and nice? Mm-hmm. And they always make it like this super long list that rolls down the hall and down the stairs and around the corner, and it's like an endless list because it's got every kid in the world on it. Picture that list, and you're checking off, didn't work, didn't work, didn't work,
wow.
Didn't work. That's all they do.
That's deep.
This didn't work, let me try this. That's all they do for their entire life, hoping for that one thing that's going to change everything. That's how intense it is.
I was up for it because I have lost most of my loved ones that have passed was from cancer, and either cancer or heart attacks. So I was more involved because I wanted to cure cancer. I
Yeah.
felt like I was curing cancer.
That's why I brought it up. That's why I wanted to go into it a little bit more to let you know what you were doing for me.
I wanted to throw in my part and feel like I was actually out there doing it.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm tired of losing my loved ones. I wanted to stop this too. You know. But at the time that we were really doing it, there was a photo of myself that really went viral. At that time, there was they were trying to stop finning of sharks. But they, so some lady took a picture of me, and we had to process the sharks at the dock, and there was a restaurant. So they, at that time, they were like on Facebook was a shark finning ban and this and that. So this lady took a picture of me, and when it went viral, it was viral. I've never seen so many rude comments about myself.
Well, you will when you watch all the YouTube videos.
I seen some. I seen some yesterday, and all I gotta say is about that. Where was y'all's application? I didn't see.
Oh no, absolutely, it's the best answer. Well, we'll see you next year.
We'll
Put
see
your
you
money
next
where your mouth is.
Exactly
Absolutely.
right. This was, but that's another conversation. But yeah, it was. I'm used to it by now. For even when we promoted Floor Wars, Isaiah is an amazing person, first and foremost, an amazing partner, and I truly love the guy. I call him every night to tell him good night, and I love him. Like me and him have a relationship like the brother I never had. I have brothers, but my family doesn't really family anymore. So Isaiah is my newfound brother. So that being said, Isaiah is a unique artist, and he's changing the industry. And I'm side by side. We are trying to not change the industry, but keep it going, man. Like this thing has been around. It's one of the oldest forms of construction, period. And I truly love it. I love where this is going, and I just want to do my part, just like with the sharks. I want to keep it going. I want to keep it alive, and introduce people that don't even know it exists. A lot of people are blind to this. They're like, "Oh my God, that's concrete."
I did it for 7 years before I even knew there was an industry that was about it. I was just doing my own thing.
That's what I'm saying.
I didn't know it existed.
It wasn't until I was in a jam, and I had an epoxy job, and the guy's like, "Let me see your work," and then he's like, "You're awesome." And he's like, "Dude, you're top of the top." So he's like, "You need to be promoted." So, and then with his promotions, that's where I came to surface. And
so then let's go to Epoxy Wars. So here we are. What has it been like being one of the coaches, captains, whatever they're, however you want to look at it?
There's so many words. Restless, fatigue, stressed. I have done a lot of intense jobs in my life, and hands down, this is the most pressure I have ever been put under. It's a combination of everything that I don't want to let anybody down. I don't want to let my team down. I want to look good for the industry.
You want to kick Isaiah's ass?
I want to kick Isaiah's ass, and in a fun way.
Of course.
Of course. Only I want not kick Isaiah's ass, just shut everybody's mouth. Pretty much like, oh wow, maybe like you guys don't look at my work.
The unknown guy deserves to be here.
Exactly. I was ready. I'm the underdog. Everybody's got to everybody's like chosen him. But normally everybody goes for the underdog. I'm surprised. But I feel like we're right there with them.
Well, and the problem too that we almost, like we talked about earlier, to have a conversation about the show after the show's over, because there's so many things I can't talk to you about since I'm a judge, and I can't tell you how we're looking at it and what we're seeing and
correct
what he's doing compared to what you're doing and all that kind of stuff.
No,
it's a really tough thing to be in my position where I gotta be careful how far I go with this right now, other than enjoying the experience and how it's going for you. And
right.
Do you think you're on schedule? You think you got everything? Is everything going the way you thought it would?
No.
Better or worse?
A little bit of both. I always know I never miss my mark, ever. I don't care who's with me. if I say I'm gonna do something, it's gonna look like I said it's gonna be. I've never worked with these gentlemen before, ever.
That is the best part of the challenge.
Yeah, Isaiah has worked with all of them.
Oh, he has?
Yes.
Well, that's not fair.
I know. No, I don't look at it like that. I'm pretty much willing. I could take any individual.
Isaiah, you better not be cheating.
Yeah. So there was. I knew the people, and maybe some of the people, most of the people I never have personally met. I met through Facebook and talked them through things, because of the, my kind of skill set versus Isaiah's. They've all wanted to come and work with me. I know I'm a little rough around the edges verbally, but we had zero time to even train these guys. These guys were not in that skill set. We took guys that are doing metallics, and now they're doing travertine layouts, stains. So I told them, I said, the next time you guys get this you're going to hear me in the back of your mind drilling you. I was like, I did it. The only reason it was very intense. So we had zero time to teach these guys at all. So to teach them how to square up a floor and find center, like some of these guys can barely read a tape measure.
I did watch the You Found Center different than Isaiah did. You found it the way I do. Isaiah does it I don't like the way he does it. Not in a bad way, like I'm not.
Yeah.
But you don't do an X across the two corners because you don't know how square the room is.
Yeah.
You always do the measurements instead.
Well, I normally do on every job I do. Palladium. Help me out with this one.
Pythagorean theorem.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do that on every job.
Yeah.
The 357, 6810. I come from a tile and marble background, and I used to do intense marble. I've had several floors go and bathrooms go in Better Home and Garden.
Awesome.
I
have a large background in tile too. When I lived in Savannah, I did it for years. I was doing custom tile work, and I got thrown into it.
Yeah.
I was an artist. I was just finishing grad school, and I wanted to do construction because I didn't want to wait tables, and I didn't.
Right.
There's no, one of the crazy things about college education. There are 3 degrees that have no job when you finish. At least 3. There might be a couple more, but at least 3 off the top of my head I can tell you about. They are painting, sculpture, and philosophy.
Mm-hmm.
I have a bachelor's degree in fine art and philosophy and a master's in painting. There is no job for me other than teaching or waiting tables.
Right.
Because you're supposed to get into galleries, you're supposed to do this whole other thing.
Yeah.
So I was like, screw that, and I found construction and was like, I jumped into it.
Yeah.
So my boss was like, well, here's how you lay tile.
Mm-hmm.
Now here's this bathroom. Here's all the tile. Go.
Yeah.
And let me do whatever I wanted. I did fountains, I did stone, I did travertine, I did slate.
Yeah.
I never did ceramic tile until I moved to Nashville 6 years later.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm right there with you, and it's a different form, and it's really cool how you can create sculpturally in a room, making columns, tubs, the tub surrounds you can make, and the levels of amazing environments that you can make with what you can do with tile. It's amazing.
Yeah. We did tile, and so one of my best friends, his family had the biggest. I wouldn't say biggest, but the stucco company in the Keys. Back in those days, there was not a lot of outsiders. We would not let outsiders come and work in our town. When we were at that time, I was working for his family for a while, doing. We would do faux finishes with like Venetian plaster. But we would not let outsiders come and work in our territory. This is our territory. This is our home.
That's how Isaiah and I were talking
So
about that.
I've told this story several times, and everybody cannot believe. Like we would we would go as far as like if another stucco company came in and set up shop and put their silica sand, their sand pile, and we would go to Home Depot and buy every bit of grass seed that we could get our hands on and put it in that pile.
That is awesome.
So when the first rain, after they did everything, is a chia pet. We did not like people coming in our town.
Yeah, we're going to get along really well.
It's a great trick, by the way. I'm talking, it does damage, it's delamination, but you could also use it to your advantage if, like, if you were looking for that kind of look.
That's true.
But we did a lot of, this is back, we did one coat and Marblecrete. We were making marble finishes before, way before, way before Venetian plaster. Obviously, that's been around forever.
Right.
But now the new products they have, we were doing that and burnishing it.
Oh, yeah.
We were doing it by hand. My shoulder is still torn up from it. But, now they got the new product, Marmino or whatever. It simplified everything. But we used to have to do it, from scratch. We would make everything. We used to make our overlays. We used to make everything.
Well, would you do this again? Would you do the competition again?
100%.
100%.
I would be here every year.
No matter what the stress level is, no matter all the headache that you've had to go through.
100%.
100% would do it again in a heartbeat.
I will take any group of guys and I will have them competition ready.
I think the good thing about it is if the industry takes this serious, next year people will be prepared.
I think so.
Because nobody had any idea what to expect, except for the guys that were planning it, which we were not part of.
Actually, well, on the sidelines, everything was planned. The actual show...
That's what I'm saying. You guys knew what the plan was.
We designed it like three nights ago.
And the competitors, the contestants didn't.
Yeah.
The judges didn't. That's why I'm saying it that way. Like now we understand the bigger picture and what the plan is and all the things that we're going to adjust, and it's going to be awesome next year.
Well, we were given literally one night and one night only. Me, Isaiah, and Steve Morris sat here and we designed the entire show. They had everything else done, just not the show. So we stayed up all night. We prepped whatever area. We laid out the entire building and came up with some kind of competition. And then we designed the competition around you guys. Because the contestants were kind of skeptical because they didn't do mixed media, so we added their scope of work. But knowing that you guys were on the judge panel, like you guys are not just getting away with flake. Come on. Anybody can do flake. They take a 2-day seminar and they're doing flake.
Right.
So we took flake to the next level and trying to please you guys, trying to impress you guys in some way, shape, or form, because we're not going to let that slide. This is an artistic challenge. Flake is not artistic.
No.
And in my eyes, this is going to hurt some feelings on people, but metallics are really not artistic.
They can be.
They can be, but for the most part, with the work I see around now, is just zebra stripes.
Yes.
It's not there. So my metallic guys now. So I asked them. I said, "You guys feel like you're decorative concrete artists?" And they're like, "With metallics." They're like, "No way! Like this is way more intense." Like, and I said, "I want to give you guys a better understanding, not just to understand, but I would like to give you another option to offer." So any one of these guys that worked and did it, that had the balls to go and sign up for this competition, I gave them the option and some of them have already been on my job sites, but you guys, they were more than welcome at any given time to come on my job site and train with me for free. I'm not going to charge anything, and I will show you what you want to know.
Well, and the interesting thing is that I have 2 of my students out there competing on each team.
I know that. I didn't know that until today.
Oh, really?
I know one of them.
Chris Kroll and Brett.
No way.
They both take the class. They took it this year together. They were both in the same class and everything.
Oh, wow.
In fact, when I met Well, I met Isaiah last year at Deco Creek, but this year at Deco Creek, I finally got to talk to him more.
Yeah.
Got to know him a little bit more.
Uh-huh.
And Chris was with him.
Uh-huh.
So every time I was talking to him, I was talking to Chris also.
Right.
And then he's sitting there. Chris has never been there. He's watching me what I'm doing, and he's like, "Well, I want to learn more of that too."
Yes.
And I was like, "Well, here's my class. It's coming up in a month, you know."
Yeah.
And so he came to that too, and it was awesome, and he had a great time. And so both of those guys know that it's hard for me to watch some of the stuff you guys are doing.
It's not my style. Trust me, it's not my style. Yeah, I've been doing travertine patterns for a long time. But I had to take serious thought in how to simplify the concept of it and deliver it to them to where they can deliver it to you.
Well, it's more than that. It's the time.
Yeah.
It's not about that. It's about how fast can you accomplish this, and what do you need to prepare ahead of time to make it move faster.
Well,
that's the bottom line to it all.
But the problem of it was that I wasn't allowed to, like, it's easy to teach, but when you have an area and you're trying to teach people and you can't do anything to the floor to jeopardize disqualification
Right.
or anything else, so they don't visualize it. They don't see what's in my head. So like I revamped on the fly, like everything I had planned, I erased like 9-10 times. I had a plan, and that just got disregarded. So I had to come up with some kind of system. After we began, the show started, and I'm over there writing, making notes, and I'm coming up with a way that they can grasp. So, like, I thought for myself, I was proud of myself. I thought that was pretty impressive that I got some kind of concept that they were able to grasp.
No, it was awesome, and it was crazy to see exactly your point. Like, how were you going to do this in the time period allowed? And it's really hard for us to sit here and go, well, this isn't perfect. Well, yeah, but they had an hour. not 2 days.
Nah, yeah.
An hour to accomplish this and get this done.
Mm-hmm.
And that's been the crazy thing about it, because it's hard not to be even harder on you guys, because I have to give you a little bit of credit and go, yeah, but this is the best they could do in the time period allowed. It's not going to be perfect. You don't have the time for perfection.
Yeah.
There's no such thing.
No such thing.
So, yes, it's going to look great when it's all said and done. It's going to look fine. But through the process, it has been amazing. And we are having so much fun sitting back there going, what are they doing right now? Why are they doing that? It's really weird right now.
I know.
I would not have done that. Oh, I would have. We're all sitting there, well, I would have done this. I would have done this.
And we know what's going to come back and end up the same result.
That's exactly the point. That's what's been crazy about it.
Nice.
And the changes you had to make, because even your idea didn't quite work. So you had to fine tune it. You had to make adjustments. Both of you have had to. I've watched Isaiah do it multiple times too.
Yeah.
What you thought was going to be exactly the way to go did not go that way at all. But it makes it so much more exciting, and it makes it great television.
That's what people want to see, right?
And name a reality show where everything always goes perfect.
And I think the show needs to, with that right there, that being said, that's what's going to make this show.
I agree.
That they need to be no information given. They need to know about it. They have 3 hours to train the first day and do the meet and greet and everything. And then you get 3 hours and 3 hours only, and then showtime the next day.
That's a good point, because they're going to know more about it now that this show exists, but they're still not going to know what changes we make for each time.
For next year, I don't think they would know the category.
Like, one of the things I brought up to Steve as an idea was not just having your 2 10-minute lifelines,
yeah,
but to have a judge lifeline.
Yes, Bob was talking to me about that too.
Yeah, I brought it up.
I agree too.
Not that we're necessarily going to get out there and do the work as much as we'll come out there and advise you and show you what we do, draw something, whatever we need to do to help you out for 15 minutes or whatever we would get.
Right.
And see if that helps you guys even more.
In this case, I don't know about another different set of guys, but in my case, it would have done more harm than good, because I was working on Maybe I don't know. It could go either way.
And no, it depends on what you need us for.
Yeah.
Depends on when you would call it and why you would call that.
Oh, we would call you.
Yes.
I got you. Use you guys for a lifeline.
Yes.
I thought you guys were just gonna come in and be like,
No.
you know what you need to do right here.
No, you asked for our support
Gotcha.
as a third lifeline.
I agree. I agree on that 100%.
That we come in there and
Yes.
advise you and give you what we think you should do
Yes.
for 10, 15, whatever it is,
Yes.
and see if that helps you at all.
Yeah, 100%. But I love the surprise. You have, like, a lot of people saying like flake. Yeah, I can do that. Like it's not gonna be. Come
Not
on,
3D flake.
Yes.
One of my favorite patterns.
By far, that's the first time I did it in flake.
No, of course not. I've never tried to do anything like that with flake. Metallic, yes.
With 1/4-inch flake.
I've never tried it with flake. I've done it with metallic. Yeah.
Yeah. Really?
Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
I'll show you some pictures after this
Yeah,
of stuff
I
that
would
I've done
love
with
to-
metallics with multiple design. I do a lot of
Yes.
design work, and then do the metallics over top of them.
I know metallics have been around for like the 60s.
I don't know if it's been around that long.
I know epoxy's been around.
Epoxy's been around for a long
and the epoxy's been around for a long time, but like in the 60s, they were using it for art.
Sure. Well, they still do that too.
They still do that too.
Yeah. Well, faux finishers also use it in the metallics in their faux to get glitter and stuff like that happening
Yes.
to it too. So the
Right.
powders have been around for a long time.
The powders have been, yeah.
I mean, when I first started doing metallics, I was buying them from Sherwin-Williams because they sell Crescent Bronze. Crescent Bronze had probably 100 different colors of metallics that you could pick from and different sizes of mica and everything.
Yes.
And but then we didn't know what the weight was. So we didn't know if it would sink down or if it would float, because they weren't designed for epoxy.
Mm-hmm.
So we were making it up as we went because we didn't have access to all the stuff we have now.
Yes. I mean, now it's like, everybody's doing, this industry is doing fantastic.
Yeah. It's only going to get better.
It's only going to get better. And I'm glad that I'm being a part of it getting better. I can't wait to see what it brings.
I agree with you. And on that note, this is perfect timing to take a break.
Yes.
I've had a great time talking to you. I really appreciate your time. I'm really glad to be here and get to know you more.
Yes, sir.
And I look forward to telling you who's going to be the winner tomorrow. Dun dun dun.
Oh yeah, I'm excited. I just want to get this. That would be a relief for me.
Yes, absolutely. Thanks everybody for listening. You have a great night. And we'll see you next time.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
I want to thank Epoxy Depot for sponsoring this show. Go to epoxydepotusa.com and check out all their great products, training classes, and all the things they have to offer. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Thank you for listening and have a great day.